Hello, Ruth. We are on lesson 95, and we are missing you today, and this is a long lesson, so I'm videotaping this so you can watch this at your leisure and keep up with the class, okay? So lesson 95 is a, wow, just take a look at page 396, 397, 398, 399. Whoa. Okay. If you would look at the practice problems first, we're going to start there on the bottom of page 399. And look what they're going to have us do. They're going to give us a shape and basically say, what kind of equation is this? You see that? So, the multiple choice for practice A is we have 4 types of equations, you match it up to the graph. And then for B, they start with the shape of the graph and they say match it up to the type of equation below. So what I want to do, you ready? Let's go back to top of page 396, and we're going to talk about these 4 types of equations, show you where we get the shape from and why it works. But here's the cool thing, you guys ready? Cool thing is, you're not going to have to do all the work that I'm doing to explain it to you. You're not going to have to do it. It becomes a matching game, which my 3-year-old grandson loves matching games. Okay, that's all this is. It's a little Algebra 1 matching game, and we're going to come up with names for these shapes to help you hold on to the shapes. Ready? Okay. So let's take an equation. We call this a quadratic equation. If it's squared, it's called quadratic. Now, let's set up a table of values. Let me go this way. And you help me out here. So, y'all, if I plug in, let me plug in -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay. If I plug in -2 for x, Stephen, what do I get? No, don't use your calculator. Positive or negative?
Positive.
Are you positive?
Yes.
Good. Plug in -1. Square it.
Be 1. Positive 1.
Right? 0? 0.
Oh, Christ, you could be
1.
1.
1. 2.
4.
4. Stephen, -3.
Be 9.
9. Okay, good. All right, so let's draw a graph. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So look what happens. 0, 0. All right, that's easy. That's the origin. 1, 1. -1 is also up here at 1. And then out here at 2, it goes up to 1, 2, 3, 4. -2 is up here at 4, right? And then when I go to 3, it's way up here at 9. So the graph kind of goes like that, actually. And over here. So what does that shape kind of look like for you?
V.
V.
It's not quite a V. It's not firm. It's kind of scooped.
Yeah,
A what?
like a U.
Kind of like a U. All right, I call this a missile cone. Okay? Right from President Trump on his way over to Assad. Here comes the missile cone. Okay? So this is what the tip of the missile is. There's the target right there at 0, 0. Wham. Now, he goes on, and if you look at pictures on page 396, this is the one that I drew, okay, that he has it pictured. Notice there's another missile cone that's just kind of slid over to the side a little bit. And if you look underneath it, it says that that would be the quantity x minus 3 squared. But do you see that it's something squared? That's the thing I want you to see. Okay, it's something squared. All right, look below it. It says x squared minus 3. You see that?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and notice that it still is x squared. That's the key, it's x squared. The fact that it's negative 3, that just tells you that the tip of the cone has moved to a different spot. Okay? If you look to the right, it's negative x squared. So it's still x squared, so it's still a missile cone, but this time it's aimed up. So everything is going the other way. Now, I could go through and we could graph a whole bunch of points and explain how that is. You're not going to have to actually do that until you get to advanced math. So I'm not going to get into all those details right now. All you have to think about is missile cone shape is a quadratic equation, and there is an x squared in there. It might be negative x squared, it might be x minus 2 the quantity squared, it might be x plus 2 the quantity squared, but when you see something squared, it's quadratic and it has the missile cone shape. Everybody cool with that? Okay, we're done with that one. Let's move on. Let's look at cubic functions. All right, let's set up a table of values. All right, get ready, gang.
No.
So cubed is to the third power. X to the third. I'm going to plug in negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. All right, so what is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2?
8. Negative 8.
Negative 8. Stephen, negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. Negative 1. 0 times 0 times 0.
Why do you keep getting the easy one?
1 times 1 times 1.
1.
Okay, Ruth, what's 2 times 2 times 2? Nope, it's not 4. Nope, it's not 16. Stephen, help her out.
It's 8.
8, okay, good. Now, let's think about what the shape would be for cubic. 1, 2, whoops. We're going to do 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, 0, 0, okay, that's easy. 1, 1, 1. Negative 1 is down here at negative 1. And then look what happens at negative 2, it's already way down here at negative 8. And at positive 2, it's way up here at positive 8. Now this is not a straight line. This actually has a little bit of a curve to it. It's kind of hard to tell, okay? And then it curves up through that, curves down through that. I call this, have you ever done this before? Taken a paper clip and bent the shape to try to straighten it out, you know. But in the process, what happens? Right where it was bent by the machine, it's really hard to straighten that part out. And so you have this shape to it. This always reminds me of a bent paper clip shape. Okay? So the bent paper clip is to the third power. All right? Now notice on the bottom of page 396, there it is, the one I just graphed. Function of x, x to the third, bent paper clip, and the center is right on 0, 0. Now look at the one next to it. It says x minus 2, the quantity cubed. So it's still the third power, okay? Now the fact that it's slid over a little bit, that's fine. Okay? It's moved to the left, to the right, I mean, it's moved to the right because it's x minus 2. But it's still the same shape. That's the important thing. The same shape because it's to the third power. Top of page 396. X to the third minus 2. Look what happens. The paper clip slid down on the graph. Instead of going through the origin, it slid down. Still the same shape, third power. That's what I need you to understand. Okay, that's all you have to remember. And then the last one is if it's actually negative x to the third, okay, it's just the mirror image, just flipped around, but still the same shape. Can you picture the paper clip? Okay. All right, any questions so far? You got these three? Okay, let me get blue. So we'll do it right here. So the next one is the square root of x. This one I need you to have your calculators out. You ready? Okay. 0, 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2,
Why?
3, 4. Okay. Square root of 0 is 0. Can I do the square root of a negative number? No. That's impossible until next year when we learn about imaginary numbers. But right now in Algebra 1, we're not smart enough to do imaginary numbers, and so we pretend like the numbers end. And so we cannot do the square root of a negative number. All right, get your calculator up. What is the square root of 0.5? 0.5, hit the square root key or square root of 0.5. Abby, read me what you have, just 3 decimal places.
0.707.
7.707, that's the square root of 1/2.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
square root of 1.
Wait.
Oops.
One.
Okay, as the class gets their calculators out to check this.
1.
1, thank you.
I already said that.
Okay, 1.5 square root.
1.225.
All right, 5. Oops. Square root of 2. There's 1.4 something.
1.414.
1.404. Square root of 3.
1.73.
1.73.
2.
Square root of 4.
2.
Steven's checking his calculator just to make sure. All right.
No, I was just trying to figure out.
So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0, 0. At 1/2, we're a little higher than the halfway point. But at 1, we're at 1, 1. 1.5, we're at 2.2. At 2, we're at 1.4, which is less than a half. 3, we're at 1.7. 4, we're finally at 2. So notice this shape. And then it just keeps going like that. So there's a definite starting point, and then it goes out, okay? It's not coming down like pictures of are good. It's going to keep angling upward, but very slowly. What do you call that shape? I could not come up with the name of it for the longest time. Finally, Stephen's sister Sarah gave me a suggestion, and I wrote it in here with her name.
An arrow?
Arrow. What physical object does it look like to you?
Yeah. Door?
Windshield wiper.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is, I'm giving credit to Sarah, you have to tell her I'm still giving credit to her. So windshield wiper, okay, looks like it's anchored and it's going on the windshield. But it has an anchoring point and then the arm. So that's the square root, okay? So there's no negative numbers, you see that? It only goes one direction. Again, look at the pictures now under the graph on page 397. The square root of x plus 2, you see how that slid to the left, but it's still the same shape. Below that we see 2 plus the square root of x, okay? So the anchoring point is a little bit higher, but it still is the same shape. Negative square root of x. Oh, that's an interesting one. So negative square root of x means that all of these become their opposite. So really it's just the windshield wiper is hanging underneath instead of above.
What's wrong with the car?
Okay? But if you just picture this as a physical shape, you'll recognize, okay, it's the same. It's just, it maybe moved over, started higher, goes underneath, but it's the same shape, and that is the square root. All right, everybody good so far? Mm-hmm. Wow. All right, now we get black. We're going to pick a little variety of color here. There's one more, and that is absolute value. absolute value of x. All right, so we're going to plug in negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. What's the absolute value of negative 2?
2.
2.
Absolute value of negative 1?
1.
1. Absolute value of 0, 0. Absolute value of 1, Stephen, is?
1.
Absolute value of 2 is?
2.
Yeah.
I can do this
We
math.
just take away the positive or negative sign. So when I go to graph that, at 1, I get 1. 0, 0. Negative 1, negative 1. At 2, I'm up here at 2. Negative 2, I'm up here at 2. So this shape is kind of like a fat V. It's a 90-degree angle, corner of a box, whatever you want to call it, but it's that definite.
Triangle.
Okay. Now, let's look at, again, page 398. We might have the absolute value of x minus 2, in which case it kind of slides to the right. Or we might have the absolute value of x plus 2, that slides it up. And then they have negative absolute value of x, and that inverts it so that it's aiming down. But notice in all the situations that are on page 398, they all have the same shape. All right. You guys are so fast, this didn't take 30 minutes like it does with most classes. So let's look at these four again. Review with me real quick. Here we go. Quadratic is squared, and the shape is
Missile
cone.
missile cone. Squared is missile cone. Okay, you got to take a mental picture of these and hold on to them. There's no, other than me telling you this, there's no other shortcut for doing this other than graphing them. Okay, bent paperclip is cubic, so to the third power. And then we have the square root is the wiper. And then the absolute value is the sharp angle, the 90-degree angle, like a fat V. All right, ready? Let's go to the practice problem. Actually, the example problem, top of page 399, okay? So, let's take the first equation. We have f of x equals x to the third plus 1. You see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
So example 95, 2.
Oh.
X to the third plus 1. Underneath it, which of those four would be the correct shape to go with x to the third?
B.
B is correct. All right, the paper clip. All right, let's look at g of x, the square root of x minus 2.
So let me see.
Okay, absolute value would be c, very good. All right, h of x is negative square root of x. Which one would that be?
D.
D, good, the wiper. And then L of x is x squared plus x plus 1. Which one would that be? Ruth? Figure it out, there's one left. Which one is it? Okay, Karina, help her out.
A.
A, yes, good. All right.
Is this all we're doing?
Hmm?
Is this all?
You getting it?
Yes.
This is one of the hardest lessons in the book, so if you're
This
getting
just
this.
seems easier than.
Wait, do you need to solve it?
Let's look at the other way now, 95-3. All right, this time I'm going to erase so you're not cheating by looking up here at the board.
Okie dokie.
No.
We drew it, we reviewed it. You've taken a mental picture.
My mental camera doesn't work that well.
Okay. Now, they're going to start with the picture, and you have to look at the equations and figure out which equation matches the picture. So, look at A. Looks like a missile cone, so which equation underneath? F of x, g of x, h of x, or k of x would match up with that? Raise your hand when you know the answer. Abby?
G of X.
G of x, very good. Yeah, x squared. All right. B, paper clip. Stephen?
F of x.
Yes, to the third power, f of x. Which one has the right angle? C.
H of x.
H of x, absolute value, yes. And then the, did you say h of x?
Yes.
No, you're wrong.
Okay.
K,
Oh, wait.
absolute value. Yeah, the wiper would be the square root, which is h of x. Okay, now, so all those they did kind of show us those, so we could check our work. But now, doing the actual practice problems, bottom of page 399, there's no score key for you to check. Ready? Raise your hand when you know which equation, f of x, g of x, h of x, or k of x, would match up with number 1, the wiper. Okay, I see 3 hands in the air. We're just waiting on Ruth. Her hand up. Okay, but we'll let Karina answer because I can't hear Ruth.
Wouldn't it be, wow, I just forgot letter 1.
Yeah, number 1 matches up to F, G, H, or K.
Okay, okay.
K, very good. All right, number
Okay,
2. Raise your hand when you're number 2. Abby?
H of x.
H of x. Okay, number 3. Upside down, but it's the 90-degree angle graph. Stephen?
G of x.
G of x, absolute value. Very good. And then number 4 is Abby?
F of x.
F of x. Good. All right, now look at number 1, the shape B1. And raise your hand when you can tell me whether it's F, G, H, or K. Okay, Ruth gets to see what the class looks like from Mr. Anger's point of view. Abby?
K of x.
She says K of x. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right. Number 2, the wiper. Karina?
H of x.
H of x, square root. Number 3, Stephen.
F of x.
F of x. And so Ruth will let you do number 4. And everybody say it with her.
G of x.
Good. All right, I think we can stop there.